Okay, so good evening, everyone, and welcome to today's session of the Leadership 2050 Summit. So we'll be starting right away whilst the others join us shortly. So first of all, we would like to say a very big thank you to God Almighty for making the 4-day summit a big success, and we thank God so much that it's been impactful. We want to also acknowledge all of our partners and then also our speakers. This event wouldn't have been itself without our speakers and also without you, the audience. So we truly appreciate you all, and we are glad to move on this journey with you. So right away, before we start with the first session, I'm going to introduce our moderators for today. So for today, we have Mr. Johnson Adomaku Ofuri, and then also um, from Ghana, yeah, and then also Comfort Gospel from Nigeria. Thank you. So I'm going to hand over right away to our moderators for today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sarah Phil. It's a great privilege and honor always to be a part of the team and to be a part of what you are doing. Welcome to everyone, and it's evening here, so I just want to extend a very warm good evening to you all. Looking forward to a very great session tonight, just as all the other days have been. Tonight we have very, very powerful speakers here. And then I'm very certain that tonight is going to be very impactful as all the previous days. We have with us tonight the speakers for tonight in the presence of Andrea Brunes who is a trade consultant at ITC. And we also have tonight with us, we will also be having Her Excellency Yara Mutola, who is the Vice President at African Union of Youth Assembly, Mozambique. And also we will also have with us Dr. Sam Ankra, who is the CEO of the African Investment Group International. And finally, Dr. Genevieve Duncan will also be with us. She is the lead consultant at Tarragon Edge. And we'll begin with a very, very beautiful session with Andrea Bones, and I would like to just read her profile just to give you a brief knowledge about who we have here taking us for the very first session. She is a very incredible person, and I must say, you should get your books and your pens ready. Knowledge indeed is power, and then anytime we have the opportunity to tap from the knowledge of such insightful people, we wouldn't want to trivialize it. So I'll begin with the profile of Andrea. Kindly stay with me shortly. So yeah, Andrea is a Peruvian trade expert who is passionate about foreign trade policy, especially related to development, trade in services, and the digital economy. With over 5 years of experience, she has worked in both the private and public sectors and with international organizations. Andrea worked in trade negotiations at the Peruvian Ministry of Foreign Trade, focusing on relations with Asia, Oceania, and Africa, and trading services and e-commerce. Likewise, she has contributed to projects related to digital trade with the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, the Inter-American Development Bank, and the World Trade Organization. Currently, Andrea is an international consultant at the International Trade Center on projects to boost ICT services and orange tourism in Latin America. Friends and everyone, help me welcome Andrea. Thank you.
Yeah, I hope you can hear me well. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much first for the invitation to the organizers, to Rafael and all the team. It's a pleasure to be here and to share these 30 minutes with all of you. To start, I'm gonna share my screen because I prepared some slides to analyze what are the global trade trends. So I think I'm allowed to do it. Okay, I think, let me see. You are not seeing my main, I guess, not my main presentation. Now you can see it well, or do you see
It's very
the
visible.
Recording in progress.
you can see my presentation, or I guess you just see the presentation with notes.
Yes, it's visible now. It's visible.
Okay, let me.
Well, I think it's going again.
No, still it's the same, or
It's gone back to the previous state. If you could reverse.
okay. No, I have an idea.
It's perfect. Oh, it's gone back.
Mm, let me- No. Yeah, now do you see my presentation?
Yeah, perfect. Perfect now.
Okay, the bigger one, right?
Yes, the bigger one. It's
Okay,
perfect.
great. Yeah, thank you so much, Arabel. Sorry to everyone for these technical details. So well, thank you so much for having interest to hear about what are the global trends. I was analyzing what could I share today because what is important to know for the African youth for these following years for 2050. So to start my presentation, this is the content. First, I'm gonna talk about these global trade trends. After some of the trends in the trade integration in Africa, and in particular, the African Continental Free Trade Area. Maybe some of you have heard about it. To finalize with some opportunities or what I saw, what I consider could be opportunities for youth in Africa, and finalizing with the main takeaways. So this is our first slide, and I want you to let you know, or to start thinking, to start reflectioning, that for many years we have considered trade just the exchange of goods, right? The exchange of minerals, of agriculture, or textile, but goods. But start thinking, how many of you have thought about the export of services, the export of our talents? For example, when you teach someone online, for example, English, I don't know, in China, from your computer, that is exporting your services. For example, if you are designing a presentation like this or a flyer, and then you sell this presentation, this design in internet, that is exporting your services. So with this first slide, I want you to start thinking and to start reflecting about trading services. Because what I have seen in these last years, and actually this week was the main public forum of the World Trade Organization, that is the organization where discussions on trade are take platform there. they talk a lot about services and what is the potential to services. And why? Because as can you see in this graph, the growth of the exchange of services have been faster than goods in these last years. And actually in 22% of the total exports were services. And yes, it's relatively low to goods, but the ratio where services are growing is even faster. And in developing countries, for example, from 2022 to 2005 to 2022, it has grown even more, from 23% to 33%. And what is happening, especially in developing countries, as Latin America, as so many countries in Africa? As we can see, this growth is even more higher, is bigger. We can see that in the least developing economies, these growing services have increased almost 300%. And in developing economies, this increment has been 2,250%. So that's why I was telling you about the importance of services, because this first part of the presentation is about that. And what kind of services are growing or are the most important or have the most potential for the future? Well, these are the digital delivery services. As you can see in this graph, the main blue line represents the growth of digital delivery services that is almost from 2005 to these last years for 400% in comparison to goods and in comparison to other services. In this part, after seeing this first graph and numbers of how services have been growing, I want you to let you know what is the main discussion right now, I think, in the multilateral sector between economies, around universities, and around negotiations. Is the future of services. They start talking about the service-led development theory. And what is this? Just to explain in simple words to understand better, because the first time that I heard about this topic, it was really impact to me, because I thought that this could be like the key policy that developing countries could implement to really reach this economic goal. So, as I was telling you, we have been considering trade for many years just as trading goods. We have been mainly exchanging just goods. And that's why developing countries and countries in general have been trying to implement industrial policies that are focused to boost these exports in goods, to boost this industrialization of the country, to boost the manufacture of goods. And for some countries, this has worked, right? We can see the examples of China, of India, but for many others, we are still in the process. Governments are still thinking what policies, what kind of investments we can make, how we can reach this level of manufacture, and maybe be the industry or microchips, the industry, or telephones, the industry, or many other goods that right now are used used by the world. So for some countries have worked, but for so many others not. So these economists like Richard Baldwin, like Daniel Rodrik, have developed this theory where they say that services could be the key factor to reach this final goal of economic development, and why services could be more helpful or more factible for developing countries to implement than manufacture. Because in services, you need less resources. You don't need, for example, a big capital to implement manufacture, to buy machines, and to produce a final good. You need a lot of talent, of young talent. You need internet, you need the digital infrastructure, of course, and you need connections to how to deliver this service through internet, through telephone, through another kind of mean. So that's why it's important to you to take, this is the first, I think, the main takeaway, to start thinking about the future of services. If you right now are consuming a service, if you have or you can or you have the opportunity to explore a service, to provide a service, and what can this be, right? I don't know, maybe if you know about languages, about mathematics, or you are good designing, well, if you have these different skills, you can provide, you can export your service. So this is mainly the service-led development theory that has been very discussed in the recent years, and mainly in this last year in academia and in international negotiations. And there are some fourth special kind of services that are gonna be the most who have more potential to be implemented and who have more potential to provide benefits to an economy. These are the connected services that are financial services, ICT services. ICT means information and communication technologies, for example, internet providers, software designers, graphic designers, transportation, and professional services, education, health, or another talent that you have and that you provided professionally, that is professional services. So that's why we are talking that the economy is the general economy, the global economy is in a process of servification, because we are transforming the economic activities to services, to export services. So that is the process of servification. And as I was telling you, there are these four connected services that are gonna be, or that are have the most more potential to be implemented to bring more benefits. And what are these connected services, or why is important these connected services? What is the difference with the normal ones? That's first, the connected services are gonna be the intermediary to provide other services. For example, the ICT, the telephony services or internet services is gonna be the mean to provide another service like professional. Like, for example, if you train another person in another country about regulations in Africa, in digital economy. So this ICT service is gonna be the intermediary to provide this final end, this final service. So that is connect service, basically. And there are many studies where you can see that these kind of services provide and generates more jobs, more innovations, and more exports. And if you compare these services with another ones, for example, or even with manufacturing and agriculture, you can see that these are growing even more faster. Connected services are growing 5%, as you can see in the graphics, compared to manufacture that is 3.7. And they are also rising more employment, especially in low-income countries. 8% compared to 4% in manufacturing. And this kind of trade can be more inclusive too, for especially small and medium enterprises, where 9 out of 10 services firms are small, compared to 8 out of 10 in manufacturing. Also, they include the participation of women, where 44% of workers are women, compared to these 37%, and can include more youth. 16% of these kind of firms are led by young people, compared with the 10% in manufacture. So this is my main takeaway of this first part. the connected services and start thinking if you can provide them, or if you are a user of them. And let's keep these ideas to the end of the presentation. So what is happening in Africa? Or how can countries export and import? Well, the basis of the foundation of the main facilitator is to have trade agreements that countries countries have an arrangements between them with clear rules and with opening markets where they can trade, right? So that's how we can export, import between countries. Well, in Africa, there has been a lot of kind of trade agreements. As you can see here in this noodle soup, we can call it, with different groups. I think one of the most famous one could be ECOWAS or COMESA or EAC. Maybe you have heard about another one. So there have been many, but recently there is one very important that all international community is talking about it and is following its negotiation. That is the African Continental Free Trade Area. This agreement involves almost all the continent, all the countries in Africa of the continent. It was or entering in force in 2019 and launched its operational phase in July of the same year. This trade agreement, and in general, I can say trade agreements right now not only include goods, but also services, but also digital trade. Some of them even include measures or issues related to the environment, to labor rights, to women in other cases. So trade agreements in general in all the countries have been evolutionating, have been increasing in terms of articles, in terms of issues covered that go beyond trade. So that is great, because like this, we can have a more inclusive world, right? We can provide, these trade agreements can provide more benefits for every person, not just big companies, and I think that's the main issue. In this case, in Africa, with the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, they are doing the same, which is super good. Because as you can see here, there has been 3 phases for the negotiation of this agreement. In the first phase, the countries negotiate protocols in goods, in services, and also the rules in case there is disputes between countries. And in this second phase, there are also negotiating rules on competition to provide, to have a clear competition arena between the countries. Also in investment to promote more entries and flow of capital, and protocol and a chapter on intellectual property rights that is important to protect the inventions, the creation of each citizen in the continent. And in this third phase, that is super interesting for our issue today, they are negotiating, and I heard that they are almost finished with this protocol on digital trade to include, for example, provisions of digital payment, where they can, to establish rules, for example, where persons can use digital firms, and these are going to be valid to make contracts, which in the end is going to facilitate the negotiations, the trade between these two enterprises, two persons. And other rules, like, for example, the use of less paper to protect the environment, or the protection of the consumer, different articles that are inside digital trade. And also they are negotiating a protocol of women and youth in trade, where I think this is not public yet, but I guess there will be articles in cooperation to foster the participation of women and youth in trade. where you can take advantage of that. That's why it's important to know what is this agreement about and what are the topics about and how you can take benefits of it. How a normal citizen, how a young person can take advantage of it. So in summary, I believe that the African continental free trade area is gonna be uh, a key before and after for the African continent, because finally you will have a trade agreement where countries have set the same rules, so it's easy to understand. It's gonna be easier to operate businesses and to exchange goods and services. And also it's gonna stimulate investment and innovation between them, because you know that trade is not just that exchange of goods and services, but also the knowledge between persons, the movement of persons between the business in the countries, in different countries. So it's much more than that. Also, it's a good opportunity, and it's gonna be key to improve the food security, not just in the continent, but in all the world, because when countries are gonna allow the barriers in goods, they are gonna facilitate more the flows of agricultural products, which is gonna be in the end beneficial for everyone. And it's also key for the economic growth, I believe, of the continent, diversifying the exports, and also providing more opportunities to citizens and the young people to participate. So here, after listening these two sections of how is the work and how is trade working right now, and what is the trends that seems that is more focused right now on services, and that services could be the future and could be a good opportunity for us, for young people, to participate and see that Africa is having trade agreements, and a big trade agreement of the AFCFTA. After that, I was thinking, okay, what are the opportunities then for youth to participate in this trade, to participate in this trade agreement, to participate in this war that is being that has the potential to convert to a lead service economy development. This has also takeaways of some work and some research of the World Bank, of ITC, where I work. I was reading some reports and articles on it. And for example, one of the things that, yeah, I was saying that services is the future, but still, if you want to participate in manufacture, or you have ideas in manufacturing, still the World Bank predicts that 29%, if there will be a 29% of increment in total exports by 2035, and a 46% in manufacturing. So still there is a potential, of course, and there will be always potential for manufacture. There are many initiatives in Africa right now, the development of new industries, with the hashtag or with the brand of Made in Africa. For example, I live in Switzerland, in Geneva, and I have seen many products made on Africa hashtag, many organic products like chocolate, like grains, even beverage. So there's still potential for that. And actually, the African continental free trade area seems that, or have the perspective that is going to increase to 13 to 16 million new jobs, and also is gonna this growth in the sector is gonna help for young people to be involved on it. So for sure, there will be still more opportunities in manufacturing and in agriculture. Like Africa, as you may know, is a huge provider of agricultural products to the world, and there is still opportunities, there will come more opportunities now, also with the future potential food crisis in the world due to the climate change and many other factors. Like Africa has a key role to help the world how to stop this problem and to provide with their agriculture, with their products. And now with African, with the FTA that I was talking about, the free trade agreement, there will be more opportunities, there will be more sources of how to do it, because there will be, or there is expected to be, more inter-regional trade in the continent of Africa. So, for example, here in this research paper of ITC and UNTAC about what could be the regional trade opportunities in Africa with the AFCFTA, you can see that in terms of goods, there will be more opportunities for vehicles, auto parts, for example, with export of sugar, with export of fish and crustaceans, plastic, and essential oils, perfumery, cosmetics. And I thought that this graphic is very interesting, because here in these two lines, you can see how much of this, let me turn on my red pointer so you can see it. So here you can see the products that have potential after the implementation of the trade agreement that I was talking about. And in the first line, you can see how much this product is involved with, how much this product is like a processed good, no? So you know, when a product has more process, it's going to involve more work, right? It's going to generate more employment, because the supply chain is going to be larger, so there are more people working in each how do you say this, in each sector, in each time, in each step for the manufacturer of the final product. So you can see here that that share of process, more than 90% is the green box, where almost 90% of these products will need a process, so it's going to generate more employment. And the yellow one is below, the yellow is between 50 to 90%, and below 50 is the red. So you can see here, of course, in vehicles, in auto parts, in this kind of automotive goods, there will be necessary more process and more employment, and electrical machinery, right, in mechanical appliance, etc. And for example, in raw materials or like sugar is less. And in this second line is the participation of women. I think it's the same. Below 5 is the red one, and more participation of women is the green, exactly. So in the green, in the sugar industry, you can see that there is more participation of women, saying as, for example, edible preparations, in clothing and cereals. And in the red ones is less participation of women. Here I'm sharing the link if you want to see. There is actually a lot of information about what could be the trade opportunities after the implementation of this agreement. So here I'm sharing it. So, and what will be the opportunities for the tech services, for the ones who wants to participate in the digital sector, in e-commerce, because of the trend that I was saying? Of course, this agreement, the AFCFTA, is super long, the name, so I have to be carefully when I pronounce it. It's gonna help to improve the tech services right now in Africa, because as I was saying, and I think I'm not gonna be redundant in this, but with this agreement between countries, also the sectors, the ministries, companies, businesses are going to be more connected. So there is more space for innovation, for market diversification, and it's going to be easier to access to new talent, to new businesses, to new areas, because the rules are going to be clear for everyone and are going to have the same rules. So this is going to reduce the regulatory complexities that we usually have when we want to explore, import in a new country. Also, there will be more markets to boost the demand for tech services. For example, nations like Ghana, Kenya, and South Africa right now are leading in skilled digital talent, skilled workforce, and business-friendly environments. Because as you can see, the trend right now is to services, to ICT, to digital bands, to export professional services and others. So I think there's a good opportunity to try to provide these services, and for this, skilled workforce is gonna be important. And in this sector, the participation of youth is key and has a good space to participate in. Africa, what Africa has and is different from other countries, is the huge talent, young talent of the population. 70% of the population is under 30. So this is super important to try to boost the digital innovation, digital services, e-commerce, because usually young people are the most innovative, creative, are the ones who are good with technologies, right? So I believe that this sector will be key, and right now is already a key and a good area where you can be interested in. So yeah, and to finalize this section, this slide of tech services, for this I was reading that it's also super important to try to improve the entrepreneurship in Africa, in countries in general, with young people, because usually young people like us, because I'm still young too, like to have more independence or have their own roadmaps to how to operate businesses or how to work their own time, etc. So entrepreneurship is a good start that you can maybe consider in the future. And if you want to start, as I was saying, if you want to be an entrepreneur, there are super helpful tools that the ITC where I work provide for free, and I'm sharing this with you. I can share also my slide in the end of the presentation, so you can have the link. We have the trade map to see that is a statistical database where you can see what are the countries exportings and importings. So you can see there what the country needs and what you can provide. Then you have the market access app. That is also a place where you can see the rules, what are the rules to access to a market or not, the conditions and others. Then you can see by product, if your product have potential in which market, and what are the restrictions or all the rules or the conditions. And then you have also the rules of origin facilitator. That is when countries have a trade agreement and you want to provide that your product is from your country, so you have the right to export with lower tariff to another country. You can see it there, and other tools that the ITC have. I don't know how many of you know about the ITC. Maybe I could have been started by that, but I'm watching right now no, I cannot see it anymore. But please comment if you have heard about ITC before. to just know in the end of the presentation how well ITC has been doing its job, I think. Because, well, for the ones that don't know, the ITC is the joint agency of the United Nations and the World Trade Organizations that provide or that help small and medium enterprises to participate in trade, especially in developing countries. And actually, we have many programs right now in Africa. I can share also the link in the end of the presentation. But if you are already exporting, if you have an idea, I think there are programs where they can help you for free to develop better your idea or to boost more your exports, imports, and projects that you have. There are right now, I think there is a lot of funding to projects focused on Africa in the International Trade Center. So I think it's worth to take a look and also to see the tools that I've been mentioning here. So to finalize and to not to try not to be boring, my main takeaways of this presentation and the information that I want you to take is the first, consider trade also in services, for services. For me, trade in services is going to be the future. You have seen how is the ratio, how are the numbers, the importance of services for the future, and the main or some key sectors that that can improve or that are going to be more important are financial services, ICT, transport and logistics, business, and professional services. And this digitalization and these cross-border services is also going to help to reshape Africa economic landscape with the exchange of professionals, with the exchange of services in ICT, financial. There is a lot of potential. The second, my second takeaway is that there will be still, of course, for a long time, of course, opportunities in manufacturing and agriculture. If you are thinking about a specific product, there will be a space for that for sure. Mostly, I think in agriculture right now with the that is sad, but with the crisis that could come in the food security crisis, so there is a huge niche in that. And there is a huge potential for young African entrepreneurs who wants to participate in these tech sectors, in digital services, just designing designing flyers or using Canva, designing presentation of software development, or providing their services to teach a language or to teach mathematics, etc. So there is a huge market there that could be taken by young people. And I think that now with this trade agreement with the African Continental Free Trade Area, there will be even more space for young people to participate in. And in general, I think that the young people like us should know what is happening in the world, should know what countries are negotiating, should know what rules are right now for trade or not, what is working well or not. So you can take advantage of that and you can enter to the discussion that sometimes sounds very technical, right? Trade and tariff, and I don't know why, but that's why you need to know to see what countries, what is happening in the world, so you can take advantage of that and participate in the discussion and share your voice. So thank you so much, and I hope you enjoyed this presentation. And if you have any question, I'm here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ma'am Andrea, for such a great section. Thank you. So I don't know if any of us have any question. Please send in your question through the chat box, or you signify by raising up your hand. We'll be taking just one question because of time.
Yes,
So,
and I can share my email here, so you can contact me at any time. I'm happy to reply any answer. Thank you.
okay,
And
now
sorry
we
for
have
taking more time. So sorry for extending the time.
it's fine, ma. So we have a question here. Said I ran out of by Miss Ultimate. I ran out of English please bear with me, but what would be the impact on major economies that have trading relationship with Africa if us as the African youth in future decided to shift from exporting raw materials like gold to trading finished product such as jewelry? How might this shift affect existing trade policies and agreements?
Thank you so much. Uh, I don't know if your name is Ultimate. Uh, I'm super bad with a name, but thank you so much for your question. I think that this trade agreement that I was talking about, the African Free Continental Trade Agreement, give us the space to trade whatever you want. I mean, of course, they will be, and it's gonna be very difficult to shift completely of to say, no, I'm not gonna export mining or gold products anymore. It's gonna be super difficult to do that. But I think this trade agreement, this modern trade agreement that like the AFCFTA, give us the space to not only export this, but also our services that could be for us more important and more beneficial. So I think there's a space for both. And now is on you how to change this, right? Or how to also provide these second source, how you provide these exporting services. So that could be my answer. Thank you.
Thank you, ma. Miss Ultimate, I don't know if your question has been answered. Please indicate in the chat box if your question has been answered. And if you know you enjoyed this section, why not sending your thank you to the chat box? Thank Miss Andrea for such a great presentation, because I actually enjoyed it too. Thank you so much, Miss Andrea, for your section and for the questions that you answered. We really appreciate your time. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank
And
you
for
to
those
all
that
me.
have more questions, please, a link will be shared so that you can ask any question that you have. So because of time, we'll be moving on to our next speaker for tonight, Excellency Yara Motola. Yara Motola is a dynamic African youth leader, deeply committed to social activism, volunteerism, and entrepreneurship, with extensive networking ties in Mozambique private sector. She holds a degree in international relations and diplomacy and began a journey in 2017 by launching a small cosmetic business. In 2021, she joined the Global Youth Parliament, where she led the peace and security pillar in her country and was quickly promoted to national coordinator of the Mozambique. In 2022, Yara started volunteering at the Dutch Musican Chamber of Commerce, a pivotal experience that strengthened her entrepreneurial profile. By 2023, she was appointed Vice President of the African Union of Youth Assembly, an organization dedicated to empowering young African leaders. Yara has also actively participated in modern United Nations Security Council simulation, representing France in 2023 and Israel in 2024. She was selected by her university to compete in a prestigious international humanitarian law competition organized by the International Committee of the Red Cross, where her team won first place, and she received the Best Speaker and Fair Play Award. Join me as we welcome our next speaker for tonight, Our Excellency Yara Motola. You're welcome, ma'am. Please, the floor is yours now.
Thank you so much. Good evening, my honorables. It's a pleasure to be here today. When I received this invitation from Mr. John, I was taken aback. Like, really? Do you really want me to do that? And I was like, okay, I'll do that. And I was just thinking how a young lady with just 23 years old could share something valuable to other young people. And then I decided that I will just share my experience. And I think the best thing we can do to inspire another young people to do their best is just when you leave something and then you share it. So, well, I accepted the invitation and here we are today. And I really hope that my experience, my values could enrich all presents here. And thank you so much. I would like to greet my people from Mozambique. Obrigada por se juntarem a nós. In Portuguese, we say like that. And in English, we are saying just thank you for joining us. And well, we have limited time and I think we're gonna start. Well, I have a challenge today to talk about entrepreneurship and economic empowerment for African youth. I don't know if my screen is all settled. Can you see it? Just drop the comments, please. Okay. So first thing first, how do we begin this journey? I'll start presenting or introducing myself. Our moderator already did it, but I think I have a lot of things to say about me. And yeah, firstly, I would say thank you for joining me. My name is Yara Mutola, as our moderator already said. I'm 23 years old and I live in Mozambique. I hold a degree in international relations and diplomacy, and I'm also a candidate to a master's degree. I will tell you next year about what. I really hope that this session don't stop here, and next week we'll have more. So I studied international relations and diplomacy. I started my career very early because of the challenge that we have in Africa. Sometimes you are studying and then you face yourself with a lot of challenges and you have to adapt yourself in a way that you can have some profits to benefit another parts of your life. And I was no exception. I saw myself in this situation and I said, okay, I have to do something. I don't have to wait for my mom, for my dad to do me something. I have to do something. Then I started with a small business in 2017. Then I moved forward. And in 2020, I saw myself in a situation that I was taking the profits of my business to benefit my volunteerism. It was a paradigm, like how come you make a business, you have some money, and then you apply it to volunteerism. It was something that didn't bode well in another people's mind, you know. But I know what I was doing, and I knew that if I continue like that, I will achieve my goals. Then I continued and do that. And on 2021, I went deep in volunteerism. I joined the GYP, which is the Global Youth Parliament. It was a movement of volunteer people, and it was a challenge that you can't even imagine. It was like a little bit after that, I was appointed the national coordinator for this movement, and I had to lead people that didn't have something to eat. I had to lead them to volunteerism, doing job, injecting their little money to activities that would benefit them in an experienced way, not in money in a turn, like quickly. And it was a challenge that I think it got me more mature. And there I learned how people that are starving sometimes are motivated to do something and they do it greatly. So nice to meet you guys. After that, I was appointed because of my commitment and so on. I was appointed to be the young professionals of the Dutch Mozambican Chamber of Commerce. And it was a pleasure to me and an honor to join it because I saw my effort giving me a coming back, you know. And I was very glad I joined it. I took it with both hands and I worked hard. So, what all this taught me? It taught me to serve others. When you do things without expecting anything in return, even if you know that someday or one day it will come back, you keep doing it, you know. So everything I did led me here. I am today. Today I'm the vice president of the African Union of Youth Assembly, but I'm also the young professionals representative of the Dutch Mozambican Chamber of Commerce. Well, about our topic. This topic, this issue, entrepreneurship helped me a lot, as I told you in the beginning, because it brings us a situation like, okay, I have no way out, I have to do something, and this thing is entrepreneurship. And well, I defined it as the process of identifying, let me just a moment, please. Identifying, creating, and pursuing opportunities to develop new products, services, or business ventures. It involves taking on financial risks in the hope of profit while introducing innovation, managing resource, and responding to market needs. Entrepreneurship typically aims to solve problems, meet demand, or improve existing systems, often playing a crucial role in economic growth and job creation. This definition is a key to me because it involves everything, every key points to make yourself a great entrepreneur. Entrepreneurship involves identifying, creating, and pursuing opportunities. We are African young people, and things don't usually come to us like ready. We have to fight and work hard to it. So this is entrepreneurship. And I thank God because we are African, and sometimes it's like we know how to pursue our goals and have it to fight for our rights, you know. And yeah, so this is the entrepreneurship for me. It involves taking on financial risks. This is, you have a small budget and you like to do a lot of things with this money and you worked hard for it, but you see yourself in a situation like, okay, what do I do? Do I take this money and buy a car, for example, buy a new mobile phone? But you see yourself in a situation like, I want to be an entrepreneurial. I will take this money, I will invest in something that will give me a profit so that I can buy a new cell phone next year or buy a new car next year. So you invest, you take a financial risk in the hope of profit while introducing innovation, managing resource, and responding to market needs. Someone told me or asked me, I think it was last year, and he asked me, how do you make money? And I said to him, well, I just sell things. I just have to buy something, for example, and find a new buyer, and then I will sell this product. And he told me, yes, this is the practical way, but in theory, how do you make money? And I told him, you tell me. Then he said, we make money solving people problems. When people have the feeling that their problems are being solved, they pay you for this. Nowadays, people are just minding their own business. People are just running, working hard for their goals. And sometimes when you appear with a small business trying to sell something, they don't have time for it. And the way you do it, it make it worse. to sell something. Then he told me, you make money solving people problems. When someone feels that their problems are being solved, they will feel in obligation to pay you for this. So what an entrepreneur do, he finds the root of the problem and create a solution for this. Then we sell the solution for this customer, for this client. And when this client feels that their problems are being solved, they pay you for this. And I said, it makes sense, really? And he said, yes. So every time when you think about doing a business or starting something small, medium, just think about solving people problems. That will grant you responses in a long term, not in a short term. And I said, yeah, okay, fine. I learned that. And ever since then, I learned to create business, to create entrepreneurship that solve people problems. For example, I noticed that a lot of people here in Mozambique, I think you are aware that our official lingua, it's not language, it's not English, it is Portuguese. And a lot of opportunities, they put English as a priority to have a job, for example, to have an opportunity. Then we have to learn English so that we can achieve an opportunity. Then I was like, okay, the market nowadays lacks people that have English fluent and so on. Why not creating a course that will benefit people? But what's the thing that distinguishes an online course, for example, with others? Because nowadays we have a lot of English school, we have a lot of English courses online and not. But when you go to the root of the problem, you find, in Portuguese, we call it diferencial. O diferencial é que vai ditar se as pessoas aderem ao curso ou não. So the distinguished point will make people adhere your product. So I was like, okay, how can I create an English course that could benefit people that have no time to go to school and sit down and learn English? Because here a lot of people works, for example, during the day and then go to school at night and so on. And people don't have time to go to a school and sit down to learn. How could I make it? And I remember, like, technology. We are dealing with technology today, nowadays, and people usually stay on their mobile phones more than an hour, more than 2 hours. How could they stay in their comfort with their mobile phones, but at the same time learning? And I said, okay, I will create a course that people in their comfort, staying at home or no, they will learn English. Because you can find a person that, for example, is during the day working, but this person also has time to chat on WhatsApp, naturally. Why not learn while doing another things? So I introduced the online course for WhatsApp. And I just call people and we stay there talking. They tell me how they are doing, how's their day, and this kind of things. In this moment, these people are developing their speaking, their listening skills. So this is the key, the distinction point that you will have when you go to the problem and you go to the root of the problem that this person has and find a solution. And this is an example of a lot of things that we can do to make a difference between our product, our service, and with the product of our neighbor, for example. And this is the problem. We'll jump to the next slide. This is the problem of young people today or nowadays, entrepreneurial people. They create business, they create medium, small business based on what their friend is doing, what their neighbor is doing, and then they go and do the same thing. It's not bad to have inspiration, but you have to find yourself, the sense of yourself, I would say. When you know who you are, what values you care, and what you fight for, this will be the difference between your business and your neighbor business. You will find in yourself what you are strong in, and you will invest in it. And another important thing I would say is that it's not just investing in the business image, for example, or product image or service image. You must be the image yourself. If someone, for example, knows you, that you are someone serious, you are always there on time, you do things that people don't expect. You serve well, people will sometimes they will not buy your product just because it's good, but because it's you selling it. So entrepreneurship requires from you collaborate. I will start with creativity. Creativity is important to make your product, your business different. You must be creative. Collaboration, when you have someone who is working in the same field and you see or you know that there is something you could learn from this person, or you could join your business to him or something like that. Collaboration is important. You learn from the best. Adaptability. You have to be resilient and take the situations, like if an adverse situation, for example, show up, you will have the strength, the knowledge, and the adaptability to receive this situation, and then by that you create a solution, you establish yourself, or you reestablish yourself by the situations that come, because we have a lot of storms in the business and entrepreneurship world. And another point is assertiveness. It is 10%, I would say. You just have to be creative. You just have to have adaptability and collaboration. To me, this is the key. Key points, what I would say. To be succeeded in entrepreneurial world, I would say training and education is important. Invest in education. Learn how to do things. Read books. It's important to read books. Sometimes we be like, oh, but I sell things. I don't need to read anymore because I'm not a lawyer student. I'm not a history student. But every area we need to learn, have a training on this. Education is crucial because we don't just do things just by doing. We have a line of a plan established. We have to pursue this plan. So I think education is the first key that an entrepreneurial would take, is the first step. Then you have the networking. Why I'm mentioning the networking? A lot of things that I achieved by networking. There are some events, for example, that the Dutch Mozambican Chamber of Commerce organized. And I don't see the necessity to be there, but I'm always there because of the networking. Sometimes you will have, you'll be on a place, for example, with a lot of people. And when you are there, don't push people to know what you do. Just be there and let it blow. Talk about your products, your business, your company, and people will hear you. And when they are hearing you, don't push them, like trying to convince them to buy, to see, because this way you are making your image, your self-image weaker. Be there, have a diplomacy in your tongue, and don't talk uninterruptedly. Like when you are having a conversation with someone, Let the person ask you questions about your company, about your business. And this way, this person will be, I would say, acknowledging more about you, about your company, because you pick their interest, you know. So don't talk, yes, I do this because, yeah, last year, next month I will be. No, just talk, launch it a little bit. Then this person will ask, oh, but you do that? You say, yeah, and even last year we made, and this person will say, oh, really? And you say, yeah, and next month we'll be doing this and that. So this way, you pick the person interest. And the strategy is, when you are there talking to this person and you speak interruptedly, this person don't even have the time to digest what you were saying. And he will leave, or she will leave you without even understanding what you do. So just launch it little by little. This is the best key, I think, we could pick potential customer interest. And yes, networking. Always be around people that, even if it's a network event, for example, that it's not from your area, be there. Someone will see you. So the third key point, I would say, social impact. A lot of business here in Africa don't go forward, and because they lack social impact. African people sometimes, not all of them, used to make business to benefit their own pocket. They are so blind by, I would say, they are eager to achieve their goals that they are blind to social impact. What you do must have a social impact, must impact positively the person living with you, your neighbor, your neighborhood, your school. Do something that really benefit people, and people will elevate you. You'll not even need to say, yes, I'm the one. No. People will say, he is the one. And it's not, there is no better thing than something recommend you because you are good. So create a business that will have a social impact in people's life. Solving someone's problem is a social impact. So that's the reason I was saying, when you want to make money, go to the root of someone's problem and solve it. And this time you are creating a social impact, you are solving someone's problem, and you are making money to yourself. This is the cycle. That's how it works. Make a business, be an entrepreneur of success, having a trainment, a strong education. And the question of quality. Create a networking. Don't stay home locked in your bedroom and trying to achieve things doing nothing. It will take you nowhere. Create a social impact. That's important. That's important. I will finalize saying, serve others. Everything I achieved in my life so far, I would say, it was because of serving others. When you do the volunteerism, for example, you are serving others, and there is no better thing than having people inspired by you because you did something to them or for them, just wanting to help. It's wonderful. It creates you a comeback feeling when you go to bed, for example. And yes, there is no better thing than going to bed at peace, knowing that I'm doing a great thing. It creates social impact, and also serving others, I could achieve a lot of things. So this is important. Well, thank you so much. I would say a lot of things, but let's keep it for next year. So now I'm putting here a pressure to Mr. Jana to create another webinar for next year. Okay, thank you so much for your attention. This is the moment for questions. I'm all ears. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for that great section. letting us know entrepreneurship and what should be done. We appreciate you, ma'am. Thank you so much. So please, everyone, if you have your question, send in your question via the chat box, or you signify by raising up your hand, then we'll unmute you and ask a question. Please, we are taking just one question because of time. Our Excellency link will be shared here. For more questions, maybe if you have any question after this event to ask her, you can connect to her through our link. But if you have any question, please send it and we'll take it. Thank you. Any question?
I think they are more motivated. They are more motivated than having doubts. Okay.
Yeah, the LinkedIn of the first speaker will be shared. She actually shared it, but I'm going to copy that and put it and send it again.
I beg your
Please,
pardon?
no, it was someone that was asking for the link of the first speaker.
Okay.
Please, do you have any question pertaining to this section? We're still waiting for that, so we can move up to the next one, please. They're all appreciating your section, very deep section. Someone said very insightful. Someone said the speech was very deep. Thank you. So thank you so much, ma'am. And it's like we don't have any question for tonight in your section.
Sorry, I have a question. Okay, thank you so much. So first of all, I'd like to say a very big thank you to Utiara Mutala for joining us today. Your Excellency, it's a pleasure to have you speak to us. And this topic you're speaking on today, it's something that boils at my heart. I'm much more passionate about entrepreneurship, and then volunteerism is also very important, and that's one of the main things I do. This particular platform and what we do here today is also volunteerism because it's like giving back to the public, giving back to our fellow Africans. So I have just one question. What would you advise any young entrepreneur based on what you said to us today? What two words, what two major advices would you say to any young entrepreneur? Because I believe that majority of us here are also entrepreneurs as well. And we have a current issue in Africa, which is also not just an African issue, but a global concern where we have the rise in youth unemployment. So what would you say that we as Africans can do to elevate our level of entrepreneurship and increase economic growth over time? Just two advices for us. Thank you.
Sorry, I've lost connection. I don't know, there was a question addressing to me. What happened?
Yeah, Mr. Raphael was asking a question.
Yes.
Mr. Raphael, please can you repeat your question?
Okay, let me just make it brief. So, first of all, I want to say a big thank you to you, Excellency Yaramutola. It's a pleasure to have you speak to us today on this topic that really burns up my heart. So, I wanted to ask, you know, entrepreneurship is very important currently in Africa and globally. We have this common concern that is a global concern, which is youth unemployment, and there's a deep crisis, and that is being faced by most Africans. Some people are not having that level of education they need to to be doing some kind of corporate work that give them good pays. So what would you say as your two key takeaways so important that you have based on your experiences and the heights you've reached apparently. What would you say to any of us here who is interested in entrepreneurship and seeking to use this as a platform for a change in Africa, like the way we have the Tony Lumelus and the others?
Okay, thank you. Well, I would say firstly, we have potential. That's the first thing I would say. We have potential that is beyond our imagination. We could, first of all, entrepreneurship give you freedom. That's the thing I would mention. If you succeed in this area, you have a freedom to operate whenever you please and do things that you actually like. And there is no something good or more good than doing something that you really like, because it grants you don't get bored with tasks to do. You'll be there always and for everything. So being an African young lady, I would say, if you want to succeed and be different for another billion of people, we have something peculiar in us, which is our image. I think I forgot to talk about this during my presentation. Our image speaks volumes of us. Sometimes you don't even to say a word and people just understood you because of your presence. Sometimes you have presence more than your product, more than what you sell, more than your own company, your business. Your image speaks volumes of you. So, as a young African people, invest in yourself. Be in an environment that help you improve your speaking skills. It's very important to know how to communicate. Sometimes you sell a perfect product, a product that the market really needs, but because you don't know how to talk about your product, you sometimes get not having enough success, or the success that you expected, because you didn't know how to communicate about your product, your service, your company, your business. So invest in yourself, young people. You will not get disappointed. It's something that you will never get disappointed about. Being skillful, being the best version of yourself, even if you don't succeed in, for example, a small business that you started, you as a person will be succeeding in your skills, in your maturement. So I would say invest in yourself, people. Young people must invest in them, know how to speak, know how to talk about them. Sometimes we go to for example, an interview for a job, and they say, tell us about yourself, and the person starts making their names like, yeah, I don't know how to communicate about me. So the best thing, even to sell something, invest in yourself. There is not something more grateful that you know that I'm buying something to eat, for example, with someone that is clean. You are secure that my children will not get sick because I'm buying something from someone that, yeah, I checked their nails and it's not that good. But if you invest in your image, and the person will even buy something that you sell, for example, to eat, with happy about that, because they know that he will be buying something that will not create issues. So I don't know if it responds the question. Thank you.
You did over. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for such beautiful answer to that question. And thank you once again for teaching us and enlightening us more on entrepreneurship. We really appreciate you. Please, for the participants, send me your appreciation messages to Her Excellency. Appreciate her for such a great section tonight. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Anything.
So because of time, And if you have further questions, a link profile, the link to our social media handle will be shared. You can reach out to her for further questions if you have. So we'll be moving on to the next speaker for tonight, Mrs. Emmeline Dete. Emmeline Dete is a public speaker. I'm so sorry, ma'am, please, if I did not pronounce her name very well. She's a public speaker, brand influencer, human resource strategist, leadership and personal development coach, German African startup consultant, as well as an event consultant. As an HR strategist with up to 13 years of human resource general practice, she has had experience within several industries, including aviation, oil and gas, academia, media, wellness, fashion, medical laboratory, supply chain, and manufacturing. She is the founder and CEO of ICS African Limited, that is Impact Concept and Solution Africa, a bonding pan-African company that provides management consulting, personal and professional development, marketing and communication, as well as corporate event engineering and management services. She is also the founder and lead blogger of a digital platform called the Fearless and Fabulous Network, where she inspires women in leadership, faith, love, and career, personal growth, as well as promote exceptional women globally. Additionally, she is the director for West African Female Leaders and Entrepreneurs Network, an African community of female leaders in business. Emmeline Chatton as a professional in HRO in 2014 with the Human Resource Certification Institute, USA, and possesses a first-class degree from the Valley View University in Human Resource Management, and an advanced International Human Resource Management Diploma in 2023. She also banked a certification from John Maxwell team as a certified speaker, trainer, and coach in August 2021. Emmeline has been honored as one of the Ghanaians 100 most influential women in 2017, one of the top 100 speakers in Ghana, 2018, one of the 2020 50 most influential young Ghanaians, a 2022 Ghana 25 Under 25 Mentor Awards in Human Resource and Human Consulting, a Visionary African Woman Award recipient in 2023, and a 2023 Women of Color Creating Wealth International Awardee. She has been further listed among the ALOY Foundation and African Women CEOs Network 50 Power people who embody resilience, leadership, and advocate for women's empowerment and inclusion in Africa in 2024, and a recipient of the 2024 International African Women Peace Award. Please join me as we welcome Ma'am Emmeline. You're welcome, ma'am. Please, you have the floor now.
Thank you very much. Pleasure to be here after yesterday. After your last do a favor and come back and continue to support and motivate you all as my colleagues have done. Forgive me, I've been under the weather, and so, but just because of my son, I decided to do this, but I'll just do this briefly for about 10 minutes. I have another session, and I need to get ready for that. I hope you've had a good time so far, guys. So yesterday I was talking about leadership and volunteerism, and I was introducing you all to the concept of volunteering and how volunteering can change your lives. A lot of you think that because of your background, your humble beginnings, you have nobody to help you, so you cannot make it in life. That is not true. A lot of us have gotten to where we are today because we have supported other people's dreams. If you support a vision, We are part of the vision. And then your life will be the same. It's impossible. If you light a candle, even in the darkest room, that light, as small as the light is, it's going to brighten it up. You may have excuses in life. Poor background, you didn't go to school, nobody to help you, you're from a home where parents are broken home. Those things are actually ingredients for you to grow. Learn to allow your challenges be your source of motivation. I see a challenge, I see opportunity. Challenges to my opportunity. Something new must happen when a challenge comes to my way. And when a challenge comes my way, I must be better than how the challenge makes me. So if nobody wants to help you, help yourself. Find somebody building the dream and build the dream with the person together. Some of you say, oh, but the people that will disappoint you, be with them. Have you noticed that as you are building their dreams, you are also developing your skill, you are developing experience? Haven't you noticed that? Anybody that does that to you is a fool, because they have only given you an opportunity to what? Expand. The opportunity for you to what? Explore. So always support. Like yesterday, I spoke about shadowing for growth. So let's assume you are my mentee and then you are supporting me what I do. You decide to volunteer your services towards me, supporting my projects and everything. Are you aware that if I ever have to travel out of this country, going for an important meeting, are you aware that you will not have to buy the ticket to travel or pay for visa? All you have to do is get your passport, and you are with me on that plane. You will walk into rooms to meet important people with me. You didn't have to ask for protocol, ask for appointment. Merely carrying the bag or the hand of a great person make you enter places you've never been before. So if you are listening to me and you are from a background that is very humble, you think that you are alone, start looking for people to support. You'll be shocked where you get to. So don't give anybody that excuse that there's nobody to help me, there's nobody to connect me. Help yourself, create an opportunity. That's grace. Have that grace. All you need to do is to believe in yourself. Look for people that will inspire fire inside, that will bring the ginger, will ginger you up. If you work with rich people, who will mistake you to be a rich person. If you work with failures, who will mistake you to be a failure. Your network is your net worth. Change the people you surround yourself with, and your life will be the same. Work with people that inspire you. Don't be bothered about those who say negative things about you, even your family members. Oh, who are you? Not come out of you. Anybody who dares tell me that thing has done me a good favor. The more you criticize me, the more I will push. I will say this lastly. If anything you must develop social capital. Social capital is the capital where you may not have money in your bank account, but when you make a phone call, somebody can connect you. Circle. Who can I make a phone call to have this problem? I need advice. And the person can say, you know what? Call this number, tell the person I referred you. If you don't have that person in your circle, I'm sorry. You're not going to go anywhere. Develop social capital. Thank God you are here in this meeting. Join the NIS team. I've invited you to join Level Up Africa. You are welcome to join us. And let's grow together. Let's explore together. It's possible. You don't need money to be great. You don't need to have all you need is your head, your competency, and your willingness to make a difference. Willing to work hard and smart, get your hands dirty, support. The opportunities are endless, my dear friends. Plenty. So join us. Let's journey together into greatness. It is possible. So Raphael will give all the information you need to join. And then one thing about us is that we always open up other opportunities for you. When you come to Level Up Africa, it's only if you don't want a chance. Except you don't want to grow. But I want to encourage you. Remain focused. Don't give up on your dream. It's possible. Look for people that have the same type of passion you have and grow with them. Look for people that have the same character as you. Live a life of values. I live by service, integrity, and excellence. I live by leadership, resilience, more importantly, faith in God. Live a life of values, people with values. You only attract your kind. Don't be afraid to say no to people who don't serve you well. Don't be afraid to say no to people who don't serve your vision, who don't serve your destiny. Focus only on destiny helpers. Focus only on people with the same purpose as you. Connect with purpose partners. Okay? Connect with purpose partners. Time is social. I have so many things to tell you. But join Level Up Africa, you get more fire, more fire. I still believe in all of you. And thank you so much for being part of this event that Level Up Africa partnered with from day one. I believe that 2025, nothing can stop us. God will give us life and we'll make sure that we use the time He has given us wisely for His glory. I love you all. Stay blessed. Reach out and connect through Raphael. We'll be in touch.
Wow, thank you so much, ma'am. We love you so much too. Thank you for your time and for such a great, let's say, exhortation from a mother to our children. We really appreciate you. Thank you so much, ma'am. So I don't know if do we have any question you want to ask her? I know she did a lot yesterday, but if you have any question you want to ask her, we'll just pick one person and ask the person's question, please. You can raise up your hand and type in your question in the chat box. Any question, please? Okay, since there's no question. So thank you once again, ma'am, for creating time out of your busy schedule to come and teach us and advise us and lecture tonight. We really appreciate you so much. Thank you so much, ma'am. All right, so because of time, we will be moving up to our next speaker for tonight in the person of Dr. Sam, and I'll be reading his profile. Dr. Sam Sapon Akre.
A minute, sorry. It's Dr. Genevieve.
Sorry?
A minute, please, I'm coming.
Okay.
Okay. So sorry for the short break. I apologize for that. So we did just a few changes. We'll go ahead to our next speaker, and she's Dr. Genevieve. I'll call on our co-moderator Ruby to read the profile for us shortly. Sorry. Thank you.
Thank you to Raphael. Thank you, Comfort, and a very big thank you to all our speakers. Thank you so much, Miss Imalin. And so, ladies and gentlemen, our final speaker is in the person of Dr. Genevieve Duncan Obubui. First of all, um, Dr. Genevieve is happens to be my mentor, and I'm honored to introduce her. And Dr. Genevieve is also the lead consultant at Targon Edge Limited. I want to seize this opportunity to say a very big thank you to you, Dr. Genevieve, for your transformative guidance, which has been instrumental in my growth as the leader I am today. Dr. Genevieve, thank you so much for your unwavering belief in me, which has unlocked opportunities, fueled my passion, and sharpened my skills too as well. I remember the first day I connected to you, you embraced me, had compassion towards me, held my hands, which you still do, gave me the opportunity to register Tarragon Edge as a student network on the University of Professional um, um, on UPSA campus, which is significantly growing day by day, of which I'm presiding over 300 active members with positive empowerment activities every semester, together with my executive members of Tarragon Edge Student Network on campus. We say thank you. We appreciate you always and long live to see us make you proud. Again, um, as my as my activational mentor, Dr. Genevieve has illuminated my path with wisdom, expertise, fostering my development through challenging projects, providing unwavering support and encouragement. So, fast forward, I'm going to read Dr. Genevieve's profile. I'll try my best to make it snappy. Um, please, a moment. Okay. And so Dr. Genevieve Pearl Duncan Obuwe stands out as hope for African women and a collaborative African business leader. She is a versatile international speaker and panel moderator. She is listed as one of the 100 most impactful change makers in Africa by Humanitarian Awards Global 2023 and was listed among the 40 most influential female leaders in Ghana in 2020. In October 2023, she was bestowed with yet another honor, the Iconic Female Leader Award by the Justina Mutali Foundation as the World Summit on Women and Girls held in Philadelphia, USA. Dr. Genevieve is a customer experience strategist, corporate trainer, and SME consultant with great passion for gender financing and youth leadership. She is an enthusiast of the SDGs 5, 7, and 8, and 17 as well. She is currently the lead consultant of Trigon S Limited. Prior to this role, she worked with Fidelity Bank Ghana Limited, where she managed flagship branches and was known for her exceptional service delivery experience. Her areas of expertise cover personal and team development, leadership, customer experience, partnership, brokerage, writing, and management consulting. Dr. Genevieve Obobo is an alumnus of the Swiss Business School, Zurich, Switzerland, where she earned her doctorate in business administration, and the University of Ghana, Legon, where she had her master's degree and gained part for her bachelor's in business administration. She's also she's also she's also management certified by CEIPS Shanghai, Cranfield Management UK, and Harvard USA. She's a fellow of the Chartered Institute of Leadership and Governance USA. Dr. Genevieve is a regular columnist in the Business and Financial Times in Ghana and is the author of both The Jigsaw Effect of Leaders and The Diary of the Branch Manager. She's also a co-author of Who Moved My Heels and My Africa, My Identity. She enjoys sharing and imparting knowledge, writing, traveling, and listening to good music. So, ladies and gentlemen, with our welcome messages, reactions, let's welcome my esteemed mentor, Dr. Genevieve Duncan Pell, to inspire us. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, please, Dr. Genevieve.
Thank you so much, Ruby. Thank you, Raphael. And thank you all, my esteemed future leaders. I don't even know how to begin because so much has happened between the last few days and now. And I must say a very big thank you, first of all, to all our esteemed speakers. You've done so well. Diverse insights, great knowledge sharing, and to you, our engaged participants, I must say you've done excellently well. Well done to all of us. So because so much has been done over the past few days, I'll just crown it all with a few nuggets that would get all of us ready into 2050. So I have themed the 2050 Leadership Foresight. And that is how I want us to look at it today. Let's make it very snappy and very engaging as well. All right. So first of all, I'd like us to remember that the function of leadership is to produce more leaders, not more followers. And that's exactly what we are all doing collaboratively. We want to ensure that a number of you, actually all of you, and even more, become leaders in the next few years, so that you take the mantle of leadership and man the affairs of Africa and the world at large. I must say that I am very, very optimistic that you all have what it takes to make Africa great again, to change the narrative, to make sure that world and global leadership is seeing something different. So I believe in all of you, and I know that we are going together, and that is why we are on this journey together. So how is the roadmap going to be like? First of all, I just want us to go back and look at a few key trends that should make us ready for the future leadership that we all want to see. We all keep complaining about not getting the best in leadership, but with what we are doing now, we don't think there is any excuse to any of us. And then we'll look also at the key soft skills that we all need as leaders to be ready for the journey ahead. And then mentorship, and then a bit of intentional networking, which I think Emmeline has spoken extensively about. So quickly, I just want us to look at this. The kind of world we find ourselves, in my opening remarks, I spoke about the fact that our world is being characterized by so many things. Technology is changing the way we do things, the way we see things, the way things will be done even in the near future. And so for this generation, we are very, very fortunate. At the same time, yes, it comes with its own challenges. But how are you ready? How ready are you? How well prepared are you to get to that level where you be able to manage the new trends that are shaping up day in and day out? So I want us to quickly look at these few points and let's all be abreast with them. The first thing for me is that we all are aware that there is a lot happening in terms of the technology space. AI very soon is taking over. But I always say that, I mean, as much as we are all not tech savvy, it's no more an excuse. You need to get tech savvy. You need to get there, because if you don't get there, you become obsolete and will leave you behind. And I don't think any of us want to be left behind. Even for the older folks, now they can do WhatsApp, they can do Zoom, they can do collaborative, systems to be able to work from home and virtual spaces. So we have no excuse. So for us, the youth, it means that we have so much time to learn so much and be ready for the leadership that we are being built up for. The next thing is that because of the way life and technology is posing, global trends are changing, the way we work are changing, like I said, hybrid ways of working, physical and then virtual. But you need to be ready using these tools, like what we are using today. We are using a platform to connect with over hundreds of young people across the globe, different speakers all over the world. And that tells you that the workforce in the few years from now, or in few years from now, is going to be something extraordinary. So how prepared are you as a leader? That is the question that I posed to you. How ready are you for the journey ahead? The next thing is, we are all seeing what is happening in our world. Climate change. We are all complaining. If it's not supposed to rain, it's raining. The weather is too hot lately. Even outside where they are looking out for summer, now summer comes and the heat is too much. It's all because of climate change. And so as young leaders getting ready for the future, how well are we going to make sure that climate change issue, sustainability issue, ESG issue, everything that concerns the environment, and making sure that our life and our world becomes better than we met it, is something that we as young leaders are ready to take up the mantle and make it happen. They say we are now in what? We are entering into the Gen Z of leadership. So there are so many things happening, and the way you get yourself prepared is what is going to make the difference in the future of leadership. And then also, I would want you to remember that as a leader, it's not just about being a leader, but you need to be a purpose-driven leader. A purpose-driven leader is a leader who is mindful, a leader who has what it takes to understand the different dynamics that are happening, very adaptable, very ready to have a mindset reform and change the way things are done and things are seen in a very creative and innovative way. So these are a few things that I want you to have at the back of your mind. What are some of the skills, the key skills that you need as a leader going into the future? One of the first things is communication skills. And I think over the past few days, a lot of the speakers have spoken on all these skills. So I will just touch on it briefly, and then we can later read more about it. The first thing I would want to say is that communication is very important. The way you clarify things, the way you speak to me, the way you make me understand what is in your head. You might be the best student from school, but if you are not able to communicate what is in your mind, nobody would know what is in there. So communication skills is something that we all need as leaders. But in communicating, there are a few things I want us to remember. We need to communicate clearly. So clarity is one key thing that we should remember when we are communicating. We need to be active listeners. We need to be able to listen attentively. We need to be able to listen and understand. If we are not getting it, then it means that we are not listening. So you need to listen well, and then you'll be able to be well informed, and then now you can change the narrative the way you want to change it. There are so many things we can do, but I'll pick one or two things from this particular slide. The next thing I want us to look at is conflict resolution. Our world is saddled with a lot of conflicts everywhere. But as a great leader, what are some of the key skills that you are picking from now, from your mentors, from your coaches, that is going to prepare you so that your generation, which is characterized by a lot of technological changes, and definitely as the world changes, so many things will happen. Conflicts might be in the ascendancy, we can't tell. But once you are ready as a leader, whichever way it turns, you are ready to face the issue, you are ready to solve the problem. We want to see leaders who are problem solvers, not leaders who just criticize and we leave it there, but leaders who have been empowered enough to be able to solve the critical issues that conflict brings. The next thing I would want to touch on is teamwork. Be a leader who is able to work with diverse people. We are on this platform with over 200 young people from across the globe. Different people coming from different backgrounds. Cultures are different. But how well are we able to work with each other? If you have the opportunity to work in an environment where people are different from you, do you see that dynamism? Or do you see that because you are different and I am different, it doesn't make any difference? But the only difference we would make is for us to understand each other and to give our best in terms of working together and collaborating. The last thing I'll talk on this slide is adaptability. I have spoken about it already, but it means a lot to me. We have what we call now adaptable quotient or the adaptability quotient. So we all know the emotional intelligence, we know the intelligent quotient, we know the social intelligence and all that. But how ready are we to adapt to the new changes that are coming our way day in and day out? So that is one thing that I want you to take away. If for nothing at all, remember that as a leader going into the future, you need to be adaptable. You need to be agile. You need to be able to adapt to different circumstances, different scenarios, different situations, and get the best result out of it. Another skill we need to really get, which I think so many of our speakers have spoken about, is emotional intelligence. Being able to understand that I am different. The way I see things, my perspectives are different. However, a leader is said to be emotionally intelligent if I am able to adapt, if I'm able to understand people from different angles and understand that my feelings does not necessarily matter. But what matters is for me to understand it from the other person's perspective. When I'm irritated because of stress or burnout, I don't have to let my team members, I don't have to let my followers see that I am so stressed, so I am bringing it on them. An emotionally intelligent leader has a way of managing situations, no matter how bad they look. It doesn't mean that you are not human. You are. But because you're a leader who is emotionally intelligent, your way of handling things are slightly different from another who is not emotionally intelligent. The other thing I want you to remember is that there is a need for you to acquire a global mindset skill. The world has changed. We can't say it's changing. It has already changed. Now it's a global village. We used to say that, but now it has come to be. How well are you informed about the different cultures, about the different ways things are done? We all know of infiltration of culture. We've all accepted and adopted into so many different cultures. But I always say, we always pick most times the bad and leave the good. How well as a leader are you picking the good that is happening in other developed worlds, in the African continent, places that things are really working? How well are you going to adopt some of these skills and change the narrative in your own space? Remember, leadership is not when you've grown. You can start your leadership right from now. And that is what we are seeing now. You guys over the past 4 days have shown great leadership skills. And that is what I am so impressed. And I know for sure, when we leave the mantle, we have no cause to worry because you have all it takes to get it to the next level and even better than you met it. So be prepared, be aware that you have all it takes and you can do it even more than we expect you to. Now, I want us to look at a few things pertaining emotional intelligence because like I said, it's one critical thing that we all need to get as leaders. So this quadrant is basically telling us that self-awareness, recognizing that you have emotions. You are not, you're a human being as well. You have emotions. However, as a leader, how well would you let your emotions be controlled by yourself? Because you only have what it takes to control you and not other people. So once you understand that you need to be self-aware, I know myself. So when it is getting there, I know that then it is getting there, so hold it. But if you don't know yourself as a leader, if you're not self-aware as a leader, what happens is that you cannot even understand what you are going through, let alone understand what others are going through. And unfortunately, that is where we are now. And we are seeing so many failures in the leadership triangle. However, for me, my point is that you and I have what it takes to make the difference. And that is why we are on this platform together. So we have all it takes and we can actually change it. The next thing I want us to look at is self-regulation. In the event where it gets overboard because I have burnout, I'm overly stressed, how well am I able to remember that, Genevieve, calm down. Genevieve, adapt to things around you, circumstances around you are not what you expect, but be calm. Remember that an emotionally intelligent leader stay calm in the midst of confusion and chaos. I remember when COVID hit, I was then the branch manager of one of our branches, and a lot of the young people I was working with were already disturbed, staying at home, not speaking to people. People were going through a lot of depression. But you know, I was also going through mine because then I was doing my job trade. I hadn't finished yet. Going through family issues, going through challenges with family members who have COVID. But still, as a manager, you are expected to be emotionally intelligent so that your team members will find strength in you. So even when I'm breaking down, I need to have that nice faith. I need to speak well. I need to behave like that strong manager that everybody wants to run to. But I was also going through my own stress. That is self-regulation. I was going through the pain, I was going through the stress, but I don't vent it on my team members because I am emotionally intelligent. Another thing is to empathize. Feel the pain for others. Know that as a leader, you cannot say you have what it takes to be a leader. One, if you cannot serve, how would you serve if you cannot empathize? So empathy is one critical thing that we should remember in being emotionally intelligent. This is one of the key pillars that we need as leaders. The next thing is social skills, which Emmeline has done justice to it. So I will not talk too much about it. I mean, social skills is for you to be able to build great networks, valuable networks, give and get. It should be reciprocal. It should not be just an abusive relationship, but build great networks that you can pick a phone and call me. Dr. Genevieve, I need you to do ABC. And when I have the energy and I have what it takes, even if it's not convenient for me, because of the network, because of the bond, because of the relationship, because of your social capital, I can say, regardless, I will do it for you. In the face of this kind of leadership, looking into the future, one critical thing I want you to remember is mentorship, the role of mentorship. I always say that mentorship is a give and take affair. Don't call me a mentor and expect that when I give you action plans and you're not following, anything can change. If I cannot change you by guiding you, if I cannot direct you by giving you action plans that you would follow, then how do you call me your mentor? So I want you to remember that mentorship is a two-way affair. You can admire me, you can say you want me to be your mentor, but when I see that that seriousness is not there, I cannot hold your hands to the next level. And I'm happy that I have quite a number of you on this platform who are my mentees. And I am proud to say that what you have done over the past 4 days is just mind-blowing. It shows that you've taken key skills from all your mentors. And that is how we want to see you. So remember that in mentorship, it's not just about, for me, knowledge transfer, but it has a responsibility from both you, my mentee, and me, the mentor. I should be prepared for you. I should be there for you. I should be willing to support. Sometimes sponsorship even comes in. I should be able to mention your name in places that you are not there because there is that network. The next thing is for you to remember that in mentorship, you are building skills. Key skills like presentation skills, you've all learned because you've seen others do it. And you become even better because you've seen your mentors do it better. So you've learned the skill to also do it even in a more better way. The next thing is for us to remember that mentorship creates networking opportunities for us. If you are in my circle and there is an opportunity, definitely I remember Ruby, I remember Raphael, I remember maybe Alicia, I remember Catherine. That is how it works. So when you have that network, then you know that you can tap into that network. But my caution here is don't abuse your network. Make the network a mutual benefit. Let it benefit you as well as it benefits your mentor. You may ask, what at all can I do to benefit my mentor? And I always cite examples with somebody like Raphael. Raphael does so many things that sometimes blow my mind. I thought, oh, I'm worrying this boy too much. But he creates the opportunity for me to find value in the relationship. And that is what I want to leave with you. That remember that mentorship is a two-way affair. You give and you get. Even if you think you don't have anything to offer, remember that there is something in you that I don't have. So there is nothing wrong with you offering to help. Accountability and goal setting is a key to mentorship. If you want to be a great leader, you need to have coaches, you need to have mentors, you need to have buddies, you need to have accountability partners, people that can hold you accountable, the task that you have said you want to be or to perform. The next thing is fostering innovation. Once you have mentors, once you are in a network of mentors, what happens to you is that you become more creative and innovative. I am happy that we have this platform where a number of students across the globe, a lot of the speakers we've not even met before, but through networking, through some mentors, we're able to come up with all these wonderful and experienced speakers. So that is the power of mentorship. Now to my call to action. I want you to remember that as leaders for the future, as leaders who are going to change the narrative, as leaders who are going to take the mantle and rule the world, not Africa, but the world, and make the world a better place like you want and you seek to see. Remember that it's important to invest in understanding global leadership trends. You are privileged. Social media is now one key thing that we all have. Be on good and valuable networks. Networks that will add value to you. Networks that will make you connect with key people in governance and politics, in corporate circles, in business, in entrepreneurial journeys. I mean, people you would learn from, people who would help you to see the strategies that you need in the next few years to lead. Knowing and investing means that you can even spend money, pick up courses that will add value to you in terms of the new leadership trends that I'm talking about. The next thing is for you to also focus on adding value to yourself, continuous personal development, reskilling and upskilling. Make sure that you even learn things that you might not ever think, I am not really tech savvy, but now I am forced to learn because that is the new way of doing things. You cannot just stay behind and say, I don't know this, or there are so many opportunities for us to all learn. Cybersecurity is something that I am passionate about and I want to learn more. So enrolling on a course to add value to myself is adding and making sure that in the next few years, if there are issues with cybersecurity, I am ready to face it as an organization. Develop strategic networks, which I have overly emphasized on. You cannot stay in isolation. You cannot be, you are not an island in the first place. So you cannot stay in silos and do things in silos. Strategic partnership, which is one of my SDGs that I don't play with. Strategic partnerships. You are here and I'm in Ghana. You are in America, I'm in Ghana. You are in Ivory Coast, I'm in Ghana. You are in Cameroon, I'm in Ghana. You are in Kenya, I'm in Ghana. But there are so many things that we can do together. Strategic partnerships. Form networks that will add value, change of ideas, get businesses springing up in different regions across the world because of networking and strategic partnerships. Finally, if you don't have a coach or a mentor, please get one. Sometimes you don't know that even us, your mentors, your coaches, we invest so much. We pay money to be coached. I remember when I was transitioning from banking to do my own thing, I had 2 different coaches that I was paying to be able to prepare me adequately for the entrepreneurial journey. So it takes a lot to determine and say that I want to get here. It is not just by mouth. You need to get there. You need to be intentional about it. You need to invest in it. You need to be ready and prepared to do the things that you need to do, the sacrifices, opportunity cost. You cannot get it all. You have to give something to get what you want. But always remember to give what is ethical, to give what is prudent, to give what your mindset and your conscience would guide you to do. I know you all know what I'm talking about. I don't want to believe in the school of thought that says that you use what you get, to use what you have to get what you want. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about investing in ourselves, investing in relationships that will take us to the next level. Conclusion, I want us to remember that looking into the future, Leadership 2050 will be shaped by global trends like technology, diversity, and sustainability. Leaders like you and myself will need to be adaptable, empathetic, and tech-savvy. Ethical leadership, which is very key to me. Ethical leadership. Leadership that requires that I'm not just doing business because I need money. I'm doing business because it saves the environment. I'm doing business because at the end of the day, somebody will be fed. I'm doing business because I can get more in profit and use some to support community, CSR. ESG now is making all of us aware that you cannot do business and not be ethical. Sustainability is what you should have at the back of your mind. So I would want to say that leadership foresight is critical for preparing the next generation of leaders, but it is a give and take. It is a collaborative effort. It is a unified body. We cannot do it in isolation. I have to do my part as Genevieve. You have to do your part as the mentee. You have to do your part as an organization. An organization has to set the systems right so that you and I would learn and be ready to change the dynamics of the future that we want to see. On this note, I would like to say a very big thank you to all of you. And I'm ready for a few questions and then we can call it a day. But before I end, I just want to use the opportunity again to say that it's been a great conference 2024, and it is because you and I made it possible. Special thanks to all our wonderful speakers, over 16 speakers. Thank you so much. We've had great engagement from you, our audience and participants. To Raphael and the team, moderators, oh my goodness, you guys have done an excellent job, and I'm so proud of you. I was saying to myself that if today is the last day for me on earth, I am proud to say that we have built great leaders who are going to do the next and even do it better. Once again, I would like to say thank you to all of you. Believe in yourself. Know that you all have what it takes to take Africa and the world to the next phase. Well done. And on this note, I'm ready for all your questions. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much, Dr. Genevieve Pell. Always something new to learn from you. I'm very enlightened. Please, is there any question? Time is fast spent, so we are going to take one or two questions. Kindly raise your hands or you can text it in the chat room and your questions are going to be answered. Thank you. Please also let's also text our thank you messages to Dr. Genevieve and appreciate her.
Okay, so let me come in here and also assist my co-moderator with Young Kofu. So we have two hands raised. So what we're going to do is we're going to have the hands raised are going to ask the questions verbally, and if you want to send your questions into the chat room, you can also do so as well. So we have the first person, Chikuma Kunyekwelu. Can speak, please. Thank you.
So, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
I hope you hear me clearly.
Yes, sir, I can hear you.
Okay. Unfortunately, my device doesn't allow me to show my face as I speak. I don't have a question. I want to express appreciation, anchoring my appreciation on the last speaker, Madam Genevieve. Actually, I am not a young person, but I saw the opportunity to learn and I utilized it well. I want to thank the organizers and the facilitators, everyone who has made delivery, excellent delivery from the first day to the last. Thank you very much.
I'm answering questions.
I'm
taking over
a
video.
legal practitioner from Nigeria, and I lead others. So learning from what has been presented, there is opportunity for me to also activate more and deepen it further on how I relate with people. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. I also appreciate your feedback. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you so much, Mr. Chikuma. We are grateful for that particular comment. Thank you so much. And it's a pleasure to.
From Greece. Thank you so much.
Okay. So we have the next hand raised, and name is Nafel. You can actually unmute and speak.
Okay.
All right, so good evening. Please, can you hear me?
Yes, please, I can hear you.
All right, thank you very much for the presentation. And I think I want to use the opportunity also to thank the previous speakers. It's been so insightful. Throughout the presentations, one thing that is running through is personal development. We should invest in ourselves. Can you please tell us some areas when we are talking about personal development so that we'll be focusing on as future leaders, where we should be looking at when we are to invest in ourselves? Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for the question. So just to make it brief, I don't know what industry or what field you are in, but for me, when I talk about personal development, I'm not just talking about our field of work or our field of study. Whatever you're doing today, you can add more skills to it. And so I cited the example of saying that I am full-time into banking, finance, but I have taken the opportunity to groom myself to teach. So I teach. I'm a trainer. Aside that, I want to go into cybersecurity. I want to learn more about the changes that are happening in our world. So aside these skills that I want to acquire, remember there are also hard skills. As I sit here, I can bake. I can do something we call fascinators as women. So I am becoming versatile in upgrading my skills. So if I talk about personal development, what I want you to remember is that wherever you find yourself, you can upgrade yourself. I have really upgraded myself in terms of my career. I have gone all the way to a doctoral level. You might want to go that path. You might want to go the opposite path. But whatever it is, remember that it is not just about our careers. It's also about skills that would make us relevant in the kind of world that we find ourselves today. So investing in yourself means that investing in things that you want to pursue, investing in things that you feel you are attracted to or you want to be known for. So it's that wide. Let me put it like that. It's a very wide scope. You don't need to limit yourself. And there are so many courses you can take online. There are some courses you don't need to even go to school to learn. You can just, in the comfort of your home, just learn. Informal way of learning. And then you can also learn from others, like the hard skills, like learning something with your hands. So whatever you feel like learning, don't limit yourself. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.
Thank you too.
Thank you so much, Dr. Genevieve, for this submission.
You're welcome.
There was another hand raised, and that is Ultimate Ngubeni from South Africa. Just you can also ask.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. Ma'am, I'd like to ask, how might quantum computing and other next generation technologies have an impact on leadership strategies and decision-making processes by 2050? And also, what preparatory steps can youngsters take today to understand and leverage these advanced technologies, such as ChatGPT and everything else that is around right now?
Okay, thank you so much. If I heard your first question right, you are asking how technology, did you cite AI, and how it's going to affect leadership in 2050?
Yes.
Is that what you said?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you very much. So the truth of the matter is that There are things that are unfolding every day in and day out. But as leaders, what we need to do is to be ready for that. So AI is something that you and I have to get used to. It is something that is happening. But for me, in terms of leadership and the skills that we need to be abreast with, so that we can face these challenges and new technologies that are coming on board, is for us to be savvy in tech. So I may not be so much like an IT student or an IT expert will be, but at least I am not ignorant about the fact that these are times that I need to understand a few things. For instance, now, if you want to cite something, if you want to write or do a research, we all know that there is Chat GPT. You can just put all your information there and then you get the information. But as a leader, I also know that I have to be original. I have to be authentic. So these are guides that will help me to make my work easier, but I will not necessarily copy and paste. Secondly, as a leader, in trying to form organizations and trying to be productive in terms of our organizations, we need to remember that we need to put systems like this that will make jobs and roles easier. So for me as a leader, I'll look at the possibilities. I'll look at the positive areas that I can use AI and other technologies that are yet to come to improve my work, to improve productivity, and make sure that as an organization, we are growing and we are becoming more efficient because we are using technology to our advantage. I don't know if I answered the question.
Yes, ma'am, you definitely answered my question. Thank you so much.
There was a part 2, or it has fit in perfectly?
It has fit in perfectly. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you too. I love to South Africa.
Thank you so much, Dr. Genevieve. I want to take this chance to say that we have about a few minutes more to go, but we are so privileged to have Dr. Genevieve as our last speaker for today. And the questions and the answers coming through are not just for the people asking alone, but has been impactful to all of us listening as well. I'd love to acknowledge the greetings from the name is Gorgeous from Correct from Greece. Thank you, and we're glad to have you with us tonight. And to everybody here, we're glad to have you tonight. I see different names, different cultures, and it's a privilege to have you here. And also through the Leadership 2050 Summit from day one to this time. Thank you so much. We'll take one more question from the chat room, and then we have the two other questions that will be verbal. So there's a question here, and the question is by McCarthy Collins Seto, and he's saying that how do you choose a mentor and how do you connect with that person? So today you have a chance to practice. We've had some speakers today and you'd like to connect with them. So Dr. Jenny will let you know how you can do this perfectly. So how do you choose a mentor and how do you connect with that person? That was the first question. And he was backing this up and saying that, let me just quote what he said. He said, I tried reaching out to someone who is ahead in my field to mentor me, but never had any response from the person. Okay, so this is a very deep question. I'll hand over to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Raphael, I'll say you've even answered part of the question for us. So by God's grace, now social media makes it very easy, especially the professional networks like LinkedIn. So you can easily connect to people. But one of the key things you should remember is that we all have busy lives now. So when you send me a message, and probably it takes me a while to respond, maybe that is not the best medium for me. Maybe my best medium is maybe emails, or maybe my best medium is text messages. But you don't have to give up. You don't have to worry because you sent somebody a text message or email, or you try connecting and the person did not mind you. What it means is that the person might not have even seen it. Sometimes the person might have seen it but might not be interested. Whichever way it is, there are 1,000,001 other people that you can connect with. You don't necessarily need to be Dr. Genevieve before I become your mentor. There are so many other ways that you can get to know me. You can follow me. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. If I connect back, perfect. If I don't even connect back, you can still send me messages. You can follow me and comment on my posts. There are so many ways that you can reach out to people that you admire and you want them to mentor you. Sometimes, if you have the opportunity to meet them one-on-one, excellent. But if you don't get that opportunity, and there are other ways like through social media, through platforms like these, where you get to hear all of us speak. I have put my LinkedIn on the chat, and then you can easily connect with me. So there are so many ways we can connect and select our mentors. But what I would want to say is that in selecting our mentors, let's remember that our mentors also have lives. They are very busy people. Some of them might not get back to us as we expect, but it doesn't mean that they are not willing. And some of them might actually not be willing, but don't give up, because there are 3 or 4 more other people who would be willing to support you. I don't know if I have answered her.
So Makati, can you let us know in the chat room if you're answered? Okay, so whilst you do that, we'll take the next question, probably the last one, by Comfort. Please, you can unmute and ask. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. And thank you so much, ma'am, for such a great section. So my question is actually on that emotional intelligence. So being a leader in an agribusiness world, will you say that empathy means weakness? And as a leader, does one really have to be like a mafian leader for you to be able to command authority, or to get your followers to do the work or keep the work going? That's what I want to know, please.
Thank you so much. You see, I don't know if you can see the broad smile on my face. You don't need to be a mafia at all to get the message down there. No. So being empathetic does not make you a weak leader in the first place. Empathy is feeling for others, putting yourself in other people's shoes, knowing that it hurts when I have a cut on my hand. Therefore, it would hurt if she also has a cut. It hurts when I'm overloaded with work that will stress me and lead to burnout. Therefore, if I am taxing my team members to get the work done and I am overly taxing them, it hurts. The same way I would feel, they would even feel even better or even more. So that is how you should look at empathy. However, I must say that sometimes when we empathize, and the way we go about it, because we are different people, mothers have a different way of handling their children. Fathers have a different way of handling their children. But we are all parents, and we need to make sure that we discipline the child, not because we don't love the child, but we discipline the child for the child to know that we love you. Therefore, it means that if my approach as a mother, or if my approach as a father, or if my approach as a leader has to be looked at, if I am overly empathizing, that is leading people to abuse the opportunities that are available. They're always calling in sick, giving us excuses and not coming to work because I'm an empathetic leader. That is not what we are talking about. Leadership, in a way, needs to be stern sometimes. So you are strict, you are strict does not necessarily mean you don't like them. Being empathetic does not mean that you should just let loose and let people do it the way they want it. You need to still guide like a mother or a father. That is the first one. The second one is, by being empathetic, it doesn't mean that I'm just opening my doors. We have something we call open door policy. So you can walk into my office and talk to me. It doesn't mean that you should just walk into my office without any decorum. No, it means that you are abusing the opportunities that I have made available to you. So let's be mindful that as leaders, I don't necessarily need to be ruthless. I don't necessarily need to be a mafia leader. I'm naturally not like that. But I will still put the lines where it has to be drawn. I will still put the straight measures where they have to be. So that just like a parent, I will caution you when I have to. I will beat you small when I have to. And I will pamper you when I also have to. That is how I want us to see empathy and being emotionally intelligent as a leader.
Thank you so much, ma'am. That was a lot. Thank you so much.
I know some people are 2 hours ahead of us, so let's wrap up quickly so that they can go and have a good night.
Okay. Um, Thank you so much, Dr. Genevieve. We are highly grateful to have had the last session for the Leadership 2050 Summit with you. I wish I had a chance to share our first flyer for the first episode of the Leadership 2050 Summit. It was, let me say, the main reason why we started the whole volunteerism in organizing the NIS webinar series. And one of the main reasons why we had to do this, okay, let me just say, I wish I could tell the story. It's so inspirational, but we'll keep that for another time. Yeah, it's a very beautiful story though. But it has to do with a number of people who had played key roles, and one of them is Dr. Genevieve Duncan. I want to say a big thank you to all our speakers from the beginning of this session. Today I'll mention just the speakers for today, Andra Bones, and then also Yara Mutwala, and then Dr. Genevieve Duncan and Mrs. Emma Lindati. We are glad that you all made it, and we really, really appreciate you all. I want to say a big thank you to my moderating team and to the entire team of the NIS Webinars Demand Group. Such an incredible team working hard for some months now, about 3 to 4 months towards this particular event. We are glad you made it and you defined this event as a success. To you all, our audience, I appreciate you all. And on behalf of the NIS webinar series, the Mark Group, I want to say we love you and we are highly grateful that you've been with us through to the end. Your attendance defined our impact. And thank you so much. We love you. And I'll end with saying this. Your certificates are going to be available to you. We'll communicate the means by which you receive your certificate. And there's going to be a platform for you. I'll be sending some opportunities to you from Tarragon Edge Limited, from Level Up Africa, and from the African Center for Economic Transformation. Please endeavor to take advantage of these opportunities you have. And as you can see on the screen, we have Dr. Genevieve Duncan Obube's social media platforms made just displayed up for you to have a view. Go to her website, get to see what she does, and then look for a mentor. This is your day. If you want to connect with H.E.R. Mutola today, just get in touch with me. If you want to connect with Mrs. Emalindati, this is the day. And also, if you want to connect with Andra Burns or any of our speakers, just get in touch with me as well. And then lastly, if you want to connect with a great mentor like my mentor, Dr. Genevieve Duncan Obuobi, you have been privileged to have this on the screen. So please just save the contacts, take some screenshots, and say hello. I wish you all the best and would be in touch continually. I would also love to announce our upcoming NIS webinar series. The next event is going to be on Steady Abroad Summit, and that is going to be in November this year, God willing. And we look forward to you being a part of this. As long as you're part of the network, you'll receive updates from us. I want to say goodbye, finally. And please don't go right away. Make use of the platform. It's time to network. I want you to just introduce yourself, your name, and then what you do, your country, and connect with someone today. Connect virtually. All the best. And see you in November.
See you all. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.